Welcome to another edition of Are You Shitting Me? I am one of the hosts. With me, as always, is my co-host, Chuck.
If you got a thirst for knowledge and a love for craft beer, then tune into our podcast and let us spin your ear. From UFOs to rock and roll, you'll be ROTF, you'll Rayo. Say, are you shitting me?
Hey, Brett, how's it going?
Excellent, Chuck. How about you?
Doing well. Excited to talk about today's topic.
Today's topic, Chuck.
Crazy conspiracy theories. Crazy conspiracy theories that people actually believe. We're going to touch on and see where it goes. I think it's going to be pretty interesting.
Right on. In honor of these crazy conspiracy theories, I know that there's a crap ton of conspiracy theories, all revolving, pun intended, around the moon. So thought we'd go with a nice, light, easy beer. We're going to be trying a Belgian white wheat beer from Blue Moon Brewing Company. So on Untapped, they have...
Out of the moon it comes. Woo!
that was kind of trippy. So it's a white Belgian-style wheat ale. It says refreshing, medium-bodied, unfiltered Belgian-style wheat ale spiced with fresh coriander and orange peel for a uniquely complex taste and an uncommonly smooth finish. Obviously, I know you've had Blue Moon before.
Yeah, this is actually one of my more favorite beers.
Yeah, I don't know that it's craft beer per se, but yeah, I enjoy good Blue Moon.
At some point in time, it's a good beer.
Okay, I enjoy it.
Nice and smooth.
5.4 ABV. Says 605,551 ratings. So it's got a 3.5 rating. So that's pretty good. I'll drink this. When I go to a restaurant and they don't have anything that I like, but they have Blue Moon, this is what I'll drink.
I like Blue Moon.
All right, Chuck. You called this meeting. What crazy conspiracies have you cooked up for us today?
We're going to start with a real common one, hence my background today.
Which I love, by the way. That looks great.
Yeah.
Is that real time?
Oh, yeah. It's live. It's live. We got the telescopic lens working behind us.
So if you're not watching us on Spotify or YouTube, you're missing out on Chuck's background here. Just saying.
It's no one else can get this through Zoom but me, so it's pretty unique.
I'm pretty sure I can get like the tropical forest or something, which has nothing to do with this topic. All right, what do you got?
Okay, so number one, the moon landing was fake. Now, this one's been around for a while. It seems to come and go. I believe that it was not fake, is what I come to the conclusion of. But there is some pretty compelling evidence if you're not really paying attention to what's going on. And I can actually see why people think that it's not. And there are some really weird things about it that don't really help to say that it was real.
I think everybody's heard this one before, saying that the whole thing was done on a movie set.
When you watch the video, it actually it does look movie set-y, like it could have been done on a movie set. I don't remember where I was watching this. Something about how they cast it on TV. There wasn't a direct feed. They had to focus the camera on a feed that displayed on a wall or something. The television companies were asking, why can't we have a direct feed to what you're looking at? They gave some reason why they couldn't. I don't remember what it was, but that just makes it really odd. Why can't we?
So I do know that a lot of those, like you see those old pictures or videos of people in the control room and they've got all these monitors in front of them. And it's my understanding that those were actually in a different room and the camera was on each one of those monitors.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Coming back to their TV, right?
Yeah. So rather than having a direct feed into the camera or however they would do it, that's what I mean. They had a camera on a monitor. So, and maybe that was due also that they just didn't have the technology to support it.
That's one of the arguments, Chuck. It had the technology about as good as a refrigerator. And actually, refrigerators probably have more technology nowadays. But here we are, we're putting people on the moon and we haven't done it again in 50 years. I want answers, Chuck.
We can't get a direct feed we have to put a camera on a monitor to show the country that we were actually on there.
I don't believe that the only reason that we haven't gone back is because it's too expensive. I'm calling bullshit.
There is actually the difficulty of surviving the Van Allen belts, which is that rotation of debris and asteroids and all the things that go around. You have to navigate your way through that to get to the moon. Apparently, that has become even more cluttered.
I believe it.
If we ever put out that episode, Lunar Litter Bugs, we talk about that, which I hope someday we do get to release it.
When we start a subscription service, that'll be the first one we put out.
Another one is the flag. It appears to be waving in a vacuum, but there's no wind. The absence of stars in the photo, and lighting and shadow inconsistencies.
I see videos randomly that pop up on Instagram. By the way, follow us on Instagram. And people are like, if there were two guys on the moon, who the hell was holding the camera when these guys came out? All right, fair enough. I don't know the answer. I'm assuming it was attached to something, but I don't know.
That's what I had always thought,
Yeah.
that they put it on a tripod or whatever.
But they're saying, who put the tripod up?
Why couldn't they put the tripod up?
Well, so then just by that alone, if they've got out,
Oh, you
put the
mean when
tripod up-
when he's taking his first step?
yeah.
That's a
So-
good question.
And then I've seen a lot lately, like the footprint on the moon doesn't match the bottom of the boot. All right, let's just say right now, you know that they have just a crap ton of different equipment that they're using for all this stuff. The fact that he had a different boot, I can easily dismiss that one, saying that was just one of the boots he had, not the one. I don't know. I always did too. People are like, you're telling me that you went up in this little sardine can and you brought a whole like Jeep Rover and drove around? Like, where the fuck did you put that?
That is a good question, but that thing doesn't really look all complex. It looks like it was something that was just put together, which is what I'm assuming.
We've talked about this, lunar litter bugs again. One of the things that they did when they went up on these Apollo 11 moon landing, they put up retro reflectors in different places so you can reflect lasers off it from the Earth and you can measure the distance and track the moon. Are scientists faking that we're hitting these retro reflectors too? Who's keeping that going for another 50 years after we've made it to the moon?
That's a good question.
I got lots of questions.
In regard to the absence of stars in the photo, it was because the sun is so bright. The light reflects off the surface of the spacesuits. The camera adjusts and doesn't capture that in the background. Also, with some of the lighting and shadow inconsistencies, which I guess makes sense. They said something about the flag. It's on a telescopic stand, and it wasn't really waving. It's just because of the fold marks that were in it. The way that the camera was recording, it made it look like it was actually waving, but it really wasn't waving.
Yeah.
Well,
You know,
a
it's
lot of
possible.
a lot of it goes back to the technology.
I definitely, there's some things like, okay, somebody explain that to me. You know, I'm not saying it's a conspiracy. However, I have questions. And I haven't taken the time to Google it and figure it out. Google's got the answer for everything.
You said retro reflectors. Laser reflectors were left on the moon by the Apollo missions that still measure the Earth-Moon distance with pinpoint accuracy. The Apollo missions were tracked by radio stations worldwide, including the Soviet Union, providing verification of the missions.
You know what else we left up there, Chuck? Poop. Right?
Nice segue into the next one. Government killed JFK. There is a lot of interesting things about this. Government involved, mafia involved. I do find it interesting that the current administration wanted to get to the bottom of this. There was another investigation done to it, and then still don't know. So either they know and they don't want to tell us, or we're just never going to get to the bottom of it.
Or maybe there really was only one gunman. You know, I've seen JFK, the movie. It's compelling that maybe there were other shooters, but I don't know.
But
At the
there was
same
a-
time,
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just say, show me this plot and where there's got to be a paper trail somewhere.
Yeah, but there's so many things about that. It's not only like how many gunmen were involved, it's what happened to the body, like went to the hospital, and you had all these different government factions.
See
Oh,
that? It was like JFK assassination with the doctor saw.
what the doctors? That's the
Yeah,
most interesting one. That one
that
to me
one.
is the most compelling. You got four guys there that were involved in the whole process when they were battling for control of who has control of the scene, who has control of the president, the questions about the body when it got transported. And if you listen to them, and then you got forensics experts on there, they know what they're talking about, and they all come to the same conclusion that the way the wound was and the way the bullet traveled doesn't make sense. So there is something more to it. Maybe it's not as conspiratorial as everybody wants to make it to be, but just everything about it would be nice to know what's going on.
I'm guessing we just don't have 100% of the truth.
Yeah, and I don't know if we ever will, right?
Yeah,
And
in our lifetime.
because if you think about it, obviously the whole thing is a mystery. Who's to say whatever is documented about it is accurate too?
Absolutely.
You have a lot of anecdotal people's stories, so that even varies. And as time goes by, a lot of the people aren't even around anymore, and who knows if we'll ever really get to the bottom of it.
One thing that I keep seeing is the whole flat Earth conspiracy.
Flat Earth.
It is flat like a disc, not a globe.
What do you think, Brett?
I think that it stems from just number one, people misunderstand physics, and they just have a
They never been in
distrust.
an airplane. Yeah.
Even in an airplane, though, it doesn't look like it's that curved. But I don't know. Plane flights, satellite orbits, it makes sense if it's all a globe, not flat. I don't know. I've never thought it was flat, but I just heard some big actor or a football player, somebody just came out saying that they think the world is flat.
Okay, so the Earth is flat. There's a wall of ice that at the end of every ocean that keeps you from falling off the Earth. That's controlled by the government, right? Is this what the claim is?
I haven't heard about this ice claim, but yeah, it is the government and science that is lying to us again.
Yeah, from what I understand, that's part of it. There's a wall of ice that will keep you from going any further.
Wow.
If the Earth,
So
if the
we're
Earth
not
is
going to
flat,
fall off the edge.
yeah, but how does that wall of ice maintain? If the ocean is moving water, you could just look at it to see that. How would that be maintained? And where does the water go? If it is flat, where does it fall off to?
The ice keeps it in, Chuck. I don't buy into this conspiracy.
So all countries of the world are together in maintaining this wall of ice. But it's only a U.S. thing. What about the other oceans with the other countries around the world?
Yeah, we maintain it, Chuck.
We maintain
But
everything.
it's getting cut out of the budget, so people are fucked now.
Doge.
We cut
Doge.
jobs, we cut ice. You know what we should do? We should send this ice to those countries that don't have
Doge.
it.
Elon came through. He's where are all these checks going to for this wall of ice in the ocean? They couldn't get any answers, and he just cut the budget to it. So
yeah, we're all screwed, Chuck. All the water's going to leave, and
then what?
People are falling off the edge. It's interesting because that actually contradicts another conspiracy theory that the Earth is hollow. These guys need to get together, and they'd have a stronger team if they came up with a unified front here.
Are you team flat or team hollow?
I think I would be more team hollow because I don't think the world is flat. I've heard some interesting theories too. Not only is it hollow, but it's inhabited by advanced beings, aliens, or even lost civilizations.
Potential for hidden civilizations. There was a movie with Brendan Fraser, Journey to the Center of the Earth. I think it was a remake. That was actually a pretty good movie. Pretty good spin on this hollow Earth stuff.
One of the problems is that gravity and physics wouldn't work on a hollow planet.
And they don't. It's the same thing for the flat Earth with the gravity.
Yeah. So
there's a thing about that in there.
I'm not buying into that at all.
I think it's interesting that it's still around, and you have people that are so convicted to it, even though you have these world-class scientists that'll tell you like you're just an idiot.
If we have any flat earthers or hollow earthers, we'd like to have you both on the show and we can have a nice little debate about it. Chuck, you were telling me that you just got inducted into the Illuminati.
I did.
So tell me about that. I know that obviously the Illuminati controlled the world.
We're a group of wealthy, powerful people that control the earth, Brett. And whenever you get the induction into this Illuminati, you head to the Denver International Airport, which is our headquarters. We have secret tunnels that go through there, technology that the rest of the world can't even get their hands. They don't even know it exists. And that's what we use there.
Like you don't know that it exists.
I don't want to give
Yeah.
out too much about it.
So in case anybody has been living inside the earth, the Illuminati is a secret society that actually runs governments, runs the media, and controls the economy. Do I think there are groups of people who have a lot of influence on all of those things? For sure. Do I think that they're all done in a secret society? I don't. Talking about Elon, most wealthy guy in the world, he definitely has some influence on all those things.
I don't believe that there's an actual organized group of the
That's
Illuminati.
meeting at the Denver airport.
Yeah, that has a headquarters at the Denver airport, but there obviously are real people in this world with lots of money that have influence on what goes on politically, nationally, and internationally. Somebody like George Soros comes right off the top of my head as an example of that. I think there's a lot of quiet people in the background that have lots of money that have a lot of influence that we don't even know about, and they want to be kept in the background. They don't want it to be known who they are or what they do or how what they do benefits them. But it's
Yeah.
definitely real.
I
Yeah.
tell you, talking about the Denver airport, I've heard rumors that there's an underground hangar for planes. Somebody started a whole rumor that they found the remains of aliens when they were building this. And I tell you what I think is hilarious is that the airport has really embraced all of that with their marketing, with things that they have in the airport. If they're lying and these are true things, they're making fun of everybody by just putting it out there. Yeah, we found it. Here you go. What are you gonna do?
That's funny that you mentioned that because in one of the sub articles, they have a marketing campaign that they created. It goes off all of that. So they turned it into another thing to make it more attractive to come to the airport, which I think is awesome.
I do too.
It's
In
one of
fact-
the most well-known American airports in the world.
I think we should do an episode from the Denver airport, Chuck. Fly
Yeah,
out there. Hopefully we can talk to somebody from the Denver airport or from the Illuminati. Reach out to us. Send us an email. We'll come out and talk to you. I would like that.
So they're talking about tunnels in an airport. From what I understand, there really are secret tunnels in an airport that only certain people have access to, like famous people. I don't know how you gain access to them or whatever, but if you just think about it, you don't always see people walking to their plane. Obviously, they have private jets or whatever, but if they're flying commercial, which lots of them do,
Yeah.
I think there's a way they can get to where they need to go without it being a mob.
I think if you have enough money to do that kind of shit, you're probably not flying out of a major airport. You're probably flying out of a smaller airport, regional airport, and you have your own plane
Yeah.
and nobody sees you because there's just fewer people there.
Yeah, that's certainly a part of it, but I think the part of some people having access to some kind of it doesn't have to be like a top secret tunnel. It's just a tunnel that exists that nobody knows
Right.
about.
They do it at sporting events and shit, right? Concerts.
Yeah.
Disney has a whole underground tunnel systems. Characters can leave their shift and not be seen by people.
They're not supposed to be seen out of their costume.
So
They
go
can't
out of
even, like,
sight.
They're not even allowed
Well,
to
and
take
they use it to do things like,
go to
for
the bathroom.
example, the parade, for example. I think they still do the electric parade. It ends and then everything gets off of Main Street. Well, they don't just keep it behind the buildings there. My whole point is there are tunnels. They exist. Are they filled with alien remains? Probably not.
Okay, so I got one. I just want to touch on this one. It's been around for the longest time, ever since I was a kid. And you and Aaron had previously talked about it when you guys did your cryptid episode.
Oh, yeah.
But Bigfoot, is Bigfoot real? And as a kid, I think a lot of kids were. I was fascinated with whether Bigfoot could be real or not. And I can't remember the name of this one book we had in our house, but I had all these different things like Loch Ness Monster and Bigfoot and all these things around the world. You didn't have the internet at that time. You couldn't just Google anything and learn about it. It was a pretty cool book. And it had Bigfoot in there. And it had that the one major film where it looks actually pretty compelling. It was old,
Oh,
where they have the guy walking and it looks like Bigfoot.
right. Tractor looks over his shoulder.
Yeah, they did a pretty good job at that. It was pretty good. But I would just say is no one's been able to capture Bigfoot at all. The only footage of him is through some very questionable,
Right.
like
Why is every
circumstances.
photo blurry?
Yes. And
Well,
how come they've never found any remains? They can't live for it.
I mean, there's no bones, there's no scat that they can prove belongs to anything. Not even DNA that they've ever found. The lack of physical evidence is compelling. However, it is interesting. I can't explain it, but there are multiple descriptions all across the world of animals similar to Bigfoot. In our national park episode with Danielle, we were talking about this, and she's like, there's got to be something to it when, you've got Yeti, Sasquatch, or whatever. Like, you got all these different names for them. They're all ape-like creatures that roam around. And how did all these different parts of the world come up with the same scam of an ape-like creature
that never have talked with each other or really had no relation to each other? Different civilizations, different countries, different types of climates, and I agree with you. There's something there, but
it's just hard to dismiss.
I know why people believe that there's a, but I said,
I do have an issue. We've talked about it before, but the Bigfoot shows, we put out a request to be on a show. Nobody's called us up, but we're available. These people that are doing these shows, Aaron said it best. They have the camera on the guy's face and it's in that low light lens. You can't see anything. They're like, did you see that? I'm like, no, I didn't see anything because your camera's on a person. Don't point the camera at the people. Point it out into the woods.
For the ghost shows.
Oh my gosh. That is the worst.
We should do an episode on paranormals too.
We've done spirits and ghosts and stuff like that, but I think we can do another dive into that for sure. Yeah, I think we should do a whole episode that's just us. Like, you see that? It's over here. Like, no, because the camera isn't on them. Yeah. By the way, another conspiracy theory, and I had never heard this one before, but 5G is what causes COVID-19.
Okay.
Forget everything that the Chinese invented COVID-19.
Was constructed in a lab?
Right.
From the same place that it started from? What a coincidence. Let's just go ahead and dismiss that. Let's not even really look into that until years later. The night at first.
What did Trump call it? The China virus or something like that?
The Wuhan flu. Wasn't that what it was called at first? The Wuhan flu?
I don't remember. I've put it out of my memory. But so the idea is that 5G technology weakens your immune system and helps spread the virus. I think people believe it because it's a combination. We got this global crisis. We have some new technology, and ta-da, we have a scapegoat. Here is one of the biggest issues with that conspiracy theory. How do you explain it spreading to countries without 5G? There are places in the world where they don't have the internet, Wi-Fi, or 5G.
Like the small villages in Africa that really don't. Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think this is even worth going into, but there's one that says that the media created COVID. They certainly did not report on it all in honesty. So they did have their part in it, whether they meant to do it or not. But
I absolutely think that media blew some things out of proportion. Obviously, there are plenty of people who died from this virus, and I apologize to anybody who lost family members because of it. That sucks. And that's a reality. It did exist. But did you ever see the South Park origin story about COVID?
The
When,
pangolin?
Randy was fucking a bat
Yeah.
with Mickey
No,
Mouse there.
Mickey, yeah.
Can't believe you fucked a bat.
Yeah. That was a good one. I got one. There's another one. I think it's worth talking about.
Okay.
We're all living in the Matrix. And
I've heard that.
I've seen different people that would understand this better than me claim that we're living in a matrix, that everything we live is of a digital creation and is not real.
We're living in Sim City.
Yeah.
Everything is fake.
Yeah.
And predestined.
Obviously, I don't believe it, but then sometimes when you think about it, you'd be like, how do we know we're not living in a matrix? What if everything is created? I think it's pretty interesting. I could see why it would become a conspiracy.
I can understand why some people might buy into that conspiracy theory, but I guess I just haven't seen enough convincing evidence for me to believe. There definitely are things like, all right, that's weird.
I just thought it's fun to touch on.
For sure. So here's one that I've never heard this conspiracy theory. And I don't know why it's a theory. So Finland does not exist.
Then who created the pole leaping competition that we talked about?
The theory is that it doesn't exist, but what I've heard now is that it began as a joke and it caught a lot of momentum. And so people were literally believing this for a while. Never mind that Finland has
a history.
They have a government. They have citizens. They have tourism.
Yes. You can go visit their country.
You
could,
nice. But it's actually a soundstage.
Oh,
it's
really?
Not, yeah, it's not real.
Maybe we should get someone from Finland on the podcast to dispute this claim.
They don't listen to us, but they will after this episode.
Finland, Finland, Finland. Let's see if that helps get them.
Just got to say it 3 times. It's click your heels. Never mind the fact that people have actually lived there. They've been there. They've taken pictures.
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious, though. Get you another conspiracy theory here that I know it's been talked about forever, it seems like. Area 51.
I was watching a little YouTube clip on that. As we were going down this, I was looking at different things. They talk about Area 51 and what the actual documentation says it was. The government report said it was a weather balloon, which it wasn't. But then later they did put in the report that it was a kind of like a experimental spy balloon that they were making, and they didn't want to let out that they were trying to create this technology. I think it was probably made for the Soviets or whatever to fly over as like a reconnaissance thing.
Yeah.
And they were doing an experimental flight with it, and it crashed. And rather than let out that's what it was, they said it was a weather balloon.
But we know, like the U-2, it was a test site for the U-2 plane.
There's all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of stuff that goes on down there. You can't even get into the area.
You remember a few years ago,
which adds even more of the mystery to it. Who knows?
For sure. You remember the Storm 51 movement a couple years ago? Everybody was signing up and they're like, we're going to storm Area 51 and they can't stop a million people all walking in, and then 10 showed up.
You can't stop this 10 people. 10 people.
They're like, stop. And that's all it took. I got one last one for you, Chuck.
Yeah.
Paul McCartney actually died in 1966.
They said that about Avril Lavigne too, that she is no longer alive.
Right.
Did you hear about that one? That
she's been replaced.
She's been replaced by somebody that looks like her and sings like her.
That totally
knows everything
about
her.
She's going to be calling in later, so let's stand by for that phone call.
See if it's her or not.
Yeah, we'll just ask her. She'll tell us the truth.
Sure.
Yeah, I think we talked about that on our Beatles episode. So if you folks haven't listened to that, go back and listen to the Beatles episode. But I totally think that they just went with it at a time when there wasn't the internet, there wasn't social media. People started this rumor and it kept the band's name around. So why would you not let that go and maybe feed
Any
into it.
publicity is good publicity.
I think so.
I gotcha.
Chuck, what'd you think about Blue Moon?
It's always been one of my go-tos. It's a good beer. It's got a nice, easy drinking
Yeah.
session beer.
It's a session beer.
It
always
is.
a good
It is
beer.
definitely one of my, like I said, if there's nothing else good, I will drink that because I can tolerate it. I don't think it's technically a craft beer, but I enjoy it.
Too broadly known and accepted worldwide now to be a craft beer.
Mr. Worldwide. So if we were going to give this a score from 0 to 5, Chuck,
I give it a 6.
damn it, Chuck.
Yes. I give it a 4.
Chuck, what are we going to be talking about next time?
Oh, you got to tune in because next time we're going to be talking about